Alright, so here's the cut. I'm going to be doing a 00 to a 2 comb over. So I'm going to start by combing over the top and putting it into place to how I'm going to style the haircut at the end and how the haircut's going to sit. This is how you want to cut it because this is how the haircut's going to sit. So first I'm going to take the wall detailers and I'm going to create my first 00 guideline. So I'm just lightly going up to about the temple point, and I'm just making sure I get all of the hairs down to a 00 and I'm not missing any, or because then I'm going to have to come back later and fix it up, and that's just time, and time is money. So here towards the back I'm just dipping it a slight bit just so it creates like a contour towards the back, but mainly because I need more space at the back to blend, so I'm making everything a bit wider and a bit more spread out, and that's why I'm dipping the line towards the back. So you want to make sure your guidelines are as straight and neat as possible, because that's going to determine how the rest of your fade's going to come out. So always brush your clients off, keep them nice and tidy and your work area tidy. So the next step, I'm just taking my number 1 and my wall magics, and I'm just creating the second number 1 guideline. So I'm going up about halfway between the part and the 00 line that I've just did, and when I get to the back I'm going to spread out the number 1 a little bit more than the sides, because there's more space at the back. I need more space to blend. So I'm only going to show you one side in the back because the other side's exactly the same as this side, besides one thing which I'm blending the top into the sides, so I'll show you that as well. So the number 2, I'm just taking it right up to the part, and I'm just getting all of the hairs. I don't want any hairs poking out or miss any, so I'm combing it to the side so I can get all of the hairs. And just make sure you make it all a number 2 and you don't miss any. There's no long pieces. You just want to make sure it's all nice and consistent and all the spacings even. And towards the back, he does have a bit of a weird crown. It just like pokes up. So I'm cutting it towards that, and I'm combing everything that's going forward, and whatever comes back I'm just getting rid of, because his hair just tends to poke up, so I'll just take it right down to short. So here I'm going to blend the 00 into the number 1. I'm taking my no guard right open, which is a half, and I'm just blending the half into that number 1, and I'm not worrying about the bottom line yet, because I know I won't be able to get it out with the half. I'm going to have to use a 1/4 or a 0 to get rid of that line. So I'm just basically focusing on blending that half into that 1. So here I'm going to a 1/4, which is just basically put the clipper right close and then open it up halfway, and then you've got a 1/4. So I'm just hitting that bottom line and trying to get rid of it. I'm always flicking, so I'm not creating any more lines, and you'll see me, I go down to a 0 just because the 1/4 isn't quite hitting the line how I want it to. So you just got to alternate between the half, the quarter and the zero, just to get that nice smooth blend from the 00 to the 1. Some people's here you might need to go back to the detailers and use the 00 to get rid of the line, but not on my brother's here because it's quite easy to fade. See, now I've gone back to the 0 and I'm just hitting that line again to make sure the blend is nice and blurry and that there's no lines. This line here is quite easy to get rid of. It's the 1 to the 2. All I do is put my 1 guard on, open it right up, and I'm just flicking at that line just to get rid of that line there. It's the easiest because the hair's long, so you can't see much lines, but you can still stuff it up if you don't know what you're doing, so get it right. I just dropped down to a 1 to get rid of any more darkness that I could see. So you just have to kind of judge and pick off what you have to use, and that'll just come with time. So I'm using the open to flick out that dark area up the top, and you can see the fade starting to come along. I just gotta do this line here, which I'm going to use 1.5 again, which is just a 1 with the lever open, and I'm just flicking up into the 2. And I know I'm not going to erase this line with this. I'm going to have to go back down to the 1 along here. So that's what I did, and the line still might not come out, but you'll have it will be more lighter and it will be a better blend. And I'm going to have to use the trusty old half guard to get rid of that last darkness along there. So this is the half guard. I think only Woll creates them, but I only use Woll clippers, so it's good for me. I just use it all the way closed, and I'm just flicking out that last line. It's a bit different from a no guard open because it's a bit longer, so it doesn't take off as much hair, so you can get more confident with it and throw it around more than you would with the no blade open. I just opened it up there so I could go a bit higher and get rid of some more darkness I seen. And now it's just pretty much touch and go. Wherever you see dark spots, you can use the corners to just target that area, or you can just use the corners. So here's the other side I was talking about, how I'm gonna blend into the top, because this side he wanted it blended and he didn't want to undercut, so I'm just combing the fringe out. And I'm going to use clipper over comb technique to erase that weight. So all I do is just put the comb in and then cut whatever's coming out. Obviously the more hair that's coming out of the comb, the more I'm going to cut. The less hair that's coming out, the less I'm going to cut. So you just have to be the judge to whether how much you want to take off. I just comb it down after every cut or a couple of cuts just to see if it needs more blending or it's blended, and you can kind of target areas. Flip the comb around and use the thin teeth if you want to get right in close to the skin and get those short hairs. Instead of having to go back to a guard, you can just use this technique, but you got to be careful because you can stuff it up and go in too deep and create more lines. So with the lineup, I'm taking my Andis T outliners and I'm just tidying up the front, and with the this line I'm just taking it in slightly. I don't want to push it in too far because the grout's hideous. No one likes a prickly grow out, so you only need to take it in a very small bit. to get that crispy line. Yeah. And then here the C cup. Even though it's a 00, you can still slightly see it. And it's the little things that make the biggest differences. Now this line, like I said, you can still line up a 00, and with the blade you can get it crisp. So some key tips for the blade: just make sure you keep the blade nice and on a 45-degree angle, and don't go too flat or perpendicular with the head, because that's how you're going to cut them. And always pull the skin tight, so you've got a nice tight surface to run the blade along. I always pull the skin tight because it just helps to prevent cuts. When I style the hair, I use my it's called like a curl brush or something. I can't remember what it's called. Like, it's basically just got teeth coming off, and it just grips the hair, and you can blow dry it into the way you want it, or you can curl it the way you want it. So I'm just applying pomade through the hair, making sure it gets through. And then I'm taking my comb to comb it all through. And this is why I didn't clipper over comb the fringe, so I could have that pompadour look at the front, and you can really like lift it high depending how long you leave as fringe. So this is the cut. Hope you liked it. Please like this video if you enjoyed the tutorial, and please subscribe to our channel. Go follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and like and subscribe for more. Cheers.